Now at 5, a local senior center is getting some big upgrades under new ownership. Plus, how some Forsaders could get free help with their tax returns. Plus,
President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu meet at a critical time for U.S. relations with Israel. I'm Erica Brown at the White House with more and the new executive orders that could impact Palestinian aid.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
the Miami Senior Center is undergoing some big upgrades. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The center's original board was dissolved and it's now under the ownership of the city of Miami. They'll add some new services, equipment, and programs. They'll give the center a fresh coat of paint, a new kitchen space, and upgrade the furniture. The center has expanded its programs and offers a library, gym, and a pool room for members.
Seniors didn't have one that they could do, chili feeds or bake a casserole or whatever to help feed or do something here. So we're in the process now of putting in a kitchen that will be used for the seniors.
The center is open every weekday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Membership costs $25 per year. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, after record high temperatures on Monday, much cooler for us today. Most of us have been sitting upper 30s to near 40 throughout most of the day. Our temperatures will slowly actually rise as we go through the overnight hours, but 37 in Pitt, 39 in Joplin. Cooler, even near freezing once you get into our northwestern counties. Then on the other end, mid 40s in southwestern parts of Missouri. So through the evening, clouds, drizzle, stick around. Temperatures kind of hang near 40 degrees. We're also going to get some patchy fog in here later on tonight, so watch out for that. But socked in with the clouds, really hard to pick up the drizzle on the radar because the rain droplets are so tiny, but we're going to continue to see the drizzle rolling through tonight and even picking up a little bit late tonight into tomorrow morning. This is going to be sticking around. We're going to talk about that here in just a bit.
See you soon. President Trump is meeting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss the ceasefire with Hamas. Israelis are desperate to get more hostages released, many of them crediting Trump for making the deal possible. Palestinians are also rejoicing over the agreement, but expressing concern about what happens next. Erica Brown reports from the White House.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived for talks at the White House, the first foreign leader visit of President Trump's second term. Hamas says negotiations are underway for the second phase of the ceasefire deal, but Trump has previously warned there is no guarantee it will hold. In Israel, family members of hostages still held in Gaza pleaded for their loved ones' return.
I'm standing here in front of the American consulate because we need the United States, we need President Trump and his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, to help us seal the second and the third part of the deal.
Trump signed 2 more executive orders today, withdrawing the U.S. from the UN Human Rights Council and cutting funding for a Palestinian relief agency.
A lot of these conflicts that we're working on should be settled, or at least we should have some help in settling them. We never seem to get help. That should be the primary purpose of the UN, the United Nations.
Many refugees say they'll be watching what comes out of today's White House meeting. This man said, Netanyahu's visit to Trump is anticipated to reflect his future plans to forcibly displace the Palestinian people and redraw the Middle East. I sincerely hope this plan does not succeed.
The Gaza thing has not worked. It's never worked.
Trump has repeatedly touted a plan to clean out Gaza, suggesting Palestinians be relocated to Egypt or Jordan.
I don't know how they could want to stay. It's a demolition site.
Steve Witkoff, the president's special envoy to the Middle East, says it could take up to 15 years to rebuild the destroyed area of Gaza. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
The Trump administration's 10% tariff on Chinese goods took effect at midnight, prompting swift retaliation from China. The country announced it will impose a 15% tariff on coal and liquefied natural gas products, as well as a 10% tariff on crude oil and other products starting Monday. President Trump had also proposed 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, but those are now paused for a month after the leaders of both countries pledged to beef up security at their borders with the United States to stop the flow of illegal drugs and migrants. Authorities have recovered the remains of all 67 victims of last week's mid-air collision near Reagan National Airport. Crews today recovered parts of the cockpit and tail of the American Airlines regional plane that took off from Wichita. Officials said it'll take several days to remove all the wreckage. Federal investigators are trying to piece together the events that led to the collision. Full investigations typically take a year or more, but investigators hope to have a preliminary report within 30 days. Still ahead, making progress and raising awareness.
It's World Cancer Day, meant to raise awareness about early detection and advances in treatment. I'm Cristian Benavides in Miami with how two sisters are supporting each other through their battles with the disease.
Plus, what researchers are learning about the long-term effects of alcohol use during pregnancy. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, we're learning more about how alcohol abuse during pregnancy can affect a child even into adulthood. A study on rats published by the Society for Neuroscience found alcohol use during the third trimester affects the parts of the brain associated with memory and decision making. Even as adults, the rats showed signs of impaired decision making and memory problems. There's a link between persistent headaches and suicidal thoughts. A study published in JAMA found people with migraines and other forms of headache disorders have higher rates of attempted suicides than people who don't have them. Chronic pain and decreased quality of life might be the reasons. Researchers say more needs to be done to address the mental health of headache patients. Teens spend an average of 1.5 hours of their school day on their phones. A study in JAMA looked at smartphone use among teens ages 13 to 18 and found while overall they're spending an average of 6 hours a day on their phones, a quarter of that use happens at school. It comes as some states look to ban phone use in schools altogether. About 4 in 10 people are at risk of developing cancer at some point in their lives. Today is World Cancer Day, which highlights the importance of early detection, screening, and treatment of the disease. Cristian Benavides shows us how two sisters leaned on each other during their most challenging times.
Ivy and Holly Cuchin are cancer survivors. Holly is in remission after being diagnosed twice with lung cancer, same as her sister Ivy, who additionally battled breast cancer in 2006.
It was like I had it, then she had it, and then I had it again.
The two sisters are close. Literally, they're next-door neighbors, which helped them lean on each other through their recent lung cancer battles.
The second time I was diagnosed, I said, I'm not doing anything, and we had a whole war.
Yeah, because she said, I can't do it again.
Yeah.
No more chemo.
I'm done.
And what did you do?
I said, you better do it.
Dr. Gilberto Lopes is Chief of Medical Oncology at the Sylvester Cancer Comprehensive Center. He treated both sisters.
We used to think of lung cancer as a disease of men who smoked a lot, and we're seeing more and more that women, as well as people who smoked less or never smoked, are developing their disease.
Both sisters stopped smoking in the late 2000s. Holly had stage 4 cancer, which had spread to the brain. She was successfully treated with immunotherapy and had one of her lungs removed. Ivy was then urged to get screened. She got a low-dose CT scan and was diagnosed with stage 1 lung cancer.
The fact that I was diagnosed so early, I didn't have to have chemo, I didn't have to have radiation. I was very lucky.
Dr. Lopes says their story highlights advancements in treatment and the importance of early detection, two main focuses for World Cancer Day.
There is hope, and we have treatments, and we can make most patients live much longer and with much better quality of life than we could 10 years ago.
Medical progress that saved Holly and Ivy's lives. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Dr. Lopes also encourages regular screening such as mammograms, colonoscopies, and low-dose CT scans, which can find cancer early and help save lives. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, changes in minimum wage across much of the nation and the impact on families.
Plus, it looks like the gloomy conditions are going to be sticking around. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a much colder day for us today. Also cloudy skies, drizzle throughout the day. And this is going to be continuing and actually sticking around for the next several days. Nice shot, though, of our indigo sky casino and resort. But you can see the clouds And we do have the drizzle out there, and we're going to get some patchy fog in here later on tonight as well, so watch out for that. All right, look at the 24-hour temperature change. It's about 30 to 35 degrees colder right now compared to this time last night. Through the evening, we're going to hang out kind of near 40 degrees, and then eventually our temperatures will start to rise a little bit as we head toward dawn. 33 in Iola, 37 in Neodesha, 41 in Veneta, Pittsburgh 37, 42 in Neosho, Stockton sitting at 37 degrees. We have these kind of northeasterly winds. They're going to switch back out the south tomorrow, so that allows our temperatures to creep up just a little bit. But look at the wind shift line in our northern counties, drops back through as we go into Thursday. So we're going to see our winds kind of all over the place over the next couple days, and at the same time, that's going to kind of play havoc with our temperatures as we go through the next couple days. Socked in with the clouds, hard to see the drizzle. Rain droplets so small on the radar, but we do have drizzle out there, and we'll be sticking around as we go through the evening hours. We have these just kind of weak waves rolling across the country, and that's going to be affecting us as we go through the next several days. Let me take you through time. For us tonight, we hang out near 40, so here's midnight. We have clouds and we have a little bit of drizzle. A few showers start to pop up late tonight into the morning hours. Temperatures lower 40s, but we are going to have some light showers and drizzle. Light showers and drizzle continue through the morning. Here's the noon hour. Temperatures low to mid 40s, but near 50 once you get in our southern counties. As we go through the day tomorrow, still light showers and drizzle, but you can see our temperatures warm to near 50 degrees. Showers exit as we get into Wednesday evening, and then here comes our next little cold front, so additional showers will start to pop up by Thursday morning. But look at our temperatures. We're in the lower 60s in our southern counties, upper 40s in our northern counties. So we may start on Thursday near 60, and then we'll slowly drop as we go through the day, and as these showers will start to work out once we get into Thursday afternoon. All right, rainfall amounts over the next couple days. It's not going to be much. We're talking 1/10 of an inch, at best maybe 2/10 of an inch, because most of this is just going to be kind of gloomy drizzle across the region. 42 to start, 47 by noon, high temp tomorrow 50, so about 10 degrees warmer than what we did see today. As we go into Friday, showers kind of back in and chilly. Then we get a brief warm up into the 60s on Saturday, and then we go right back down again as we go into Sunday. 50 on Wednesday, 60 on Thursday, but in the morning. 48 on Friday, back to 64 Saturday, back down to 43 on Super Bowl Sunday. So just really kind of all over the place and kind of gloomy most of the week.
Yeah, but the temp's not too bad, really, considering it is.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse.
Thanks, Dad. Coming up, an expert offers tips for preparing your tax return. Topping today's Consumer Watch, it's a dreaded time of year, tax season. Instead of panicking, try preparing. Most people have until April 15th to file their 2024 returns, pay any taxes owed, or request an extension to file. Experts advise getting your document ducks in a row. First, like your W-2 if you're an employee, or 1099s if you're an independent contractor, along with any unemployment, dividends, Social Security, and pension if you're itemizing. You'll also need property tax notifications and mortgage statements. Some good news here. It's not all outgoing money. Don't forget to claim tax credits.
The Earned Income Tax Credit. That's a biggie.
Okay.
That's the most lucrative one. The Child Tax Credit. And then there are a number of credits for higher education. If you put together all the money that should have been claimed, that wasn't, the IRS says it totals more than $7 billion. People, look out for those credits. They are valuable. You don't have to owe money to be entitled to those credits.
If you have an online side hustle like an Etsy shop, you have to file if you made $5,000 or more in 2024. Those income amounts are steadily decreasing over the next couple of years to get more people to file. Some experts in Joplin are offering free tax preparation for individuals and families making $67,000 per year or less. They're part of the federal program called VITA, or Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, and it's run by qualified volunteers with expertise in tax services. For local volunteers, it's more than just filing taxes. It's a chance to give back to the community. We'll have more on that for you tonight at 6. The federal minimum wage hasn't been increased since 2009. Dozens of states raised it on their own, but for many workers who have families, it's not enough to live on. Jason Allen has that story.
Tiana Yeldell's long day starts early in the morning. The mother of 3 gets her kids off to school and then heads to her job at Pizza Hut, where she cooks and delivers. Yeldell lives in Houston. The minimum wage in Texas is the same as the federal minimum wage, $7.25 an hour. She does a little better and gets $9.50 an hour plus tips, but it's not enough.
These jobs gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna pay how they want to pay.
To make ends meet, she has a second job cleaning cars on the city of Houston's metro system. And it's back home where she has little time with her kids.
I work roughly between 75 and 80 hours a week. And it's a lot.
According to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, a living wage for one adult raising 3 kids in the Houston metro area is $57.65 an hour.
Even though minimum wages have gone up in many states and localities, they're still not paying a living wage. What is a living wage? A living wage is a wage that allows workers to be self-sufficient and provide for their families.
Yeldell would like to see Texas raise the minimum wage. Almost 3 dozen states have increased it to $11 an hour or higher. However, higher wages have a huge impact on businesses, who are then often forced to raise prices to stay profitable.
Being a mother, I do what I'm supposed to do for my kids. You know, my children feel like you always at work.
And unfortunately for Yeldell, for now, the long hours are only going to continue. Jason Allen, CBS News, Dallas.
During the campaign, President Trump said he would consider raising the federal minimum wage, but doing so would be complicated. The FDA now says recalled broccoli florets sold at Walmart are potentially deadly. Braga Fresh recalled 12-ounce bags of ready-to-eat market-side broccoli florets in late December. They were sold due to a possible listeria contamination. Yesterday, the FDA raised its classification of the recall to Class 1, indicating there is a serious risk of, quote, adverse health consequences or death associated with the product. The recalled broccoli no longer on store shelves, but it had a best buy date of December 10th. A final check of the forecast coming up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a trade war with China breaks out. What can shoppers expect? Then on KOAM News at 6, authorities hope to identify human remains discovered in northeastern Oklahoma. Plus, we're going to hear from a 4-stater taking advantage of that free tax preparation service in Joplin we told you about. And McDonald County Wrestling hosts Carl Junction. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Hey, looking for a used fiddle? Well, here's your chance to get one. Sotheby's is going to auction off a Stradivarius violin in New York on Friday. The instrument was crafted in 1714 by famed violin maker Antonio Stradivari, and it's expected to sell for a cool 12 to 18 million bucks. It could become the most expensive instrument ever sold. Most expensive was sold for a little less than 16. It's currently owned by the New England Conservatory in Boston, and proceeds from the sale will go to student scholarships. I called it a fiddle, but really, if it costs that much, you're calling it a violin.
Yeah, I would think so.
We're very carefully been putting
Way
the cover
out there.
back on that. You bet. An investment is what it is.
Absolutely.
The weather going to be a bit cooler in the days ahead.
It is. Our temperatures are really going to kind of fluctuate over the next few days, but the clouds and the drizzle, that's going to be sticking around. We're going to have fog and drizzle once again for us tonight, and then again on your Wednesday.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.